your opponents are not in government.
They're not.
We use the word casually, establishment. Why don't we use the word honestly, army? There does not apparently appear to be any interference. You may allege there is, but you know, the overt kind of stuff, unless you point out, matters are coming, the elections are not being held. It was your own petition we argued, which we pressed it in 12 days. We got the date, you were happy, everybody was happy when. So access to courts is there. It's not that nobody allowed you to file. Making allegations on the media or outside, like what a person says, does not mean that his membership ceases. Unless you can show he resigned a political party, joined another political party, or went through some disciplinary procedure and was thrown out from the political party. So I don't know about the other candidates, we've not heard much about them, but don't just simply say they were not members of PTI. How would I know you are a member of PTI? You saying so, and they saying so, there must be some parameters within which one can objectively determine this fact.
Absolutely.
So if it is not added to this, and please hear this is also very important, you used the word mala fide in fact and in law. Various allegations, we don't try to be influenced by anything that is said on the media or social media, but your stance is that there is mala fide of fact and law before the court of law, the Supreme Court. Now you must show such mala fide, because a point which was raised yesterday by Mr. Makhdoom Ali Khan was the fact that, okay, now I'm not in government, now they are hounding me. He said, no, we had raised this point when you were in government. PTI was in government. ECP was a constitutional body and had called upon you to conduct your elections. This has gone back very far back in time when the PTI was in government. So surely, unless you are saying that ECP was so independent a body that even it was proceeding against those in government then, either you maintain that stance, that will undermine your stance that ECP has suddenly, the same persons in the ECP have suddenly turned subservient to whoever you want to allege. So, if it was suddenly been brought up, they've been pursuing this matter for quite a while. And before that, you know, either you take the plea that the law of election, and mind you, Election Act has not been challenged, any provision thereof.
I will not.
So whether we will not comment on its constitutionality, because it has not been challenged. It may be challenged tomorrow, and we don't want to, in these related proceedings.
I'm not challenging them.
So certain provisions are pointed out, then a person will just produce a piece of paper. I've held elections. And would that constitute elections? I'm not going into the nitty-gritty of the elections, mind you. I want to know the general, sort of, you know, every election everybody complains. I mean, it's rare in Pakistan that nobody complains, but you see the general
broader picture.
So you understood what I
mean? I have understood. And I'm going to address that. I worked on it last night, and I will address both those questions. So, but for the present moment,
Let me start with the facts first, then we come, if we can just start with 14 members.
Destroy my scheme of arguments.
Okay, fine, okay, fair enough.
पेज 90 के ऊपर
आप जैसे चलें फिर आप चलें.
फेडरल इलेक्शन कमीशन का आपका शेड्यूल है पेज 90 पेपर बुक नंबर 1 में
जी.
तो ये आप जरा देखिए ना, इसके अंदर जो नॉमिनेशन और इलेक्शन कराने का तरीक़ेकार पेज 90
जी. हमने जो पेज 90
आपके नियाजुल्लाह खान नियाजी साहब ने 29/11/2023 को इशू किया
जी.
अगर आप इसमें देखें नोटिस इनवाइटिंग नॉमिनेशन पेपर्स फ्रॉम पीटीआई मेंबर,
जी सर,
ये वही है 29
ये हो गया जी 29 को।
फिर नॉमिनेशन फॉर्म्स टू बी रिसीव्ड बाय रिटर्निंग ऑफिसर एट इस्लामाबाद जस्ट आफ्टर 2 days 1/12/2023।
करेक्ट सर।
अपील अगेंस्ट ऑब्जेक्शन और रिजेक्शन ऑफ नॉमिनेशन फॉर्म वो भी पहली तारीख ही है, सेम डे ही नॉमिनेशन फॉर्म रिसीव किए जाएंगे, सेम डेट ही वो अपीलें फाइल हो जाएंगी। फिर डिस्प्ले ऑफ नेम ऑफ कंटेस्टिंग पैनल वो भी 1/12 ही है
जी।
फिर पोलिंग डे एट पेशावर खैबर पख्तूनख्वा, इसमें देयर इज नो वेन्यू मेंशन फॉर द इलेक्शंस, दैट इज ये भी 2/12/2023 को ही होगी। फिर डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ इलेक्शन रिजल्ट बाय सीईसी वो भी 2/12 को ही होगी, और नोटिफिकेशन ऑफ इलेक्शन रिजल्ट जो है वो 3/12 को होगी। जस्ट ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड यस्टरडे आल्सो कि जो आपका प्रोसीजर है इसके अंदर वो नॉमिनेशन फॉर्म कहाँ से लेने थे, वेयर वाज द वेन्यू मेंशन इन दिस, how to collect the form, nomination form, where the nomination form is to be submitted, because I also asked the question that how many members you have. I think it is more than 8,50,000.
जी।
तो इसके अंदर जो बात चीफ साहब भी आपसे कह रहे हैं कि वो ट्रांसपेरेंसी इलेक्शंस के अंदर थी, कौन लड़ सकता था कौन नहीं लड़ सकता था, by simply saying अब आपकी 15 कंप्लेंट वहाँ गई हैं ईसीपी में
जी।
ईसीपी में सो मोटो नहीं है ये एक्शन
जी।
somebody has filed complaints and the action was taken on the complaint not by ECP सो मोटो, आपके अपने सर्टिफिकेट 65 पे न्यू आई है कि 15 कंप्लेंट फाइल हो गई वहाँ पे। तो अब उन्होंने देखा है इन सब चीज़ों को, तो उस पे हम ये पूछना आपसे चाह रहे थे ना कि ये किस तरह का प्रोसीजर था।
बिल्कुल, मुझे आई अंडरस्टूड द पॉइंट, आपका जो पॉइंट है,
क्योंकि जब आप लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड की बात करते हैं तो आपकी पार्टी में भी तो लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड होनी चाहिए ना, जब वो मेंबर्स को भी तो लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड मिलेगी करना चाहता है इलेक्शन। जैसे चीफ साहब ने डेमोक्रेसी की बात की, तो मैं ये बात भी आप उसमें ऐड कर रहा हूँ कि उनको भी तो मौका मिलना चाहिए ना।
मैं
जीते हारे वो उनकी नसीब में इलेक्ट होते नहीं होते, और फिर सारा दारोमदार आपके अपने पीटीआई के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पे है, उसमें आपने इतना ट्रांसपेरेंट प्रोसीजर बनाया हुआ है कि वो दैट्स वेरी गुड कि आप उसमें सारी चीजें, बट इफ यू फॉलो दैट वुड बी ए बेस्ट ट्रांसपेरेंट इलेक्शन ऑफ एनी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी। अब वो बीच में लैकिंग नजर आ रही है, इसलिए ये सारे सवालात उठ रहे हैं।
बिल्कुल ठीक है सर, मैं आई गॉट दैट।
You may ignore the, with respect to Mr. Makhdoom Ali Khan, he may get upset, but you may ignore the minor points. I mean, we are more focused on this, so I'm just telling you our mind, and we want to save time also.
I appreciate,
because you know every election we will find some, oh, this particular form not submitted, that thing not done. Okay, we will be charitable there.
ठीक जी, ठीक। So your lordship, my coming back to my point, so एक ऑर्डर है जो इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान ने किया जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि होल्ड हुआ था, they have not pointed out anything in the manner, but I will still satisfy the court जो आपने पूछा, लेकिन they have not pointed this out. They have simply said the appointment of the general secretary and the appointment of the federal commission. So they have not questioned कि आपने एक दिन में क्यों किया या 2 दिन में क्यों किया या अनकंटेस्टेड क्यों था वगैरह वगैरह। So that is important to note कि as far as the election commission is concerned, they have no cavil with this. Your lordship has raised a question which I'll be answering with documents shortly, but for the time being, the order does not say it. Now, your lordship, they have done 2 things: taken away the not just declared this election void, but also jumped and taken away the symbol. So एक चीज है कि आपका इलेक्शन,
वो तो हमने नोट कर लिया जी, आप प्लीज proceed.
Now what is a symbol, sir?
I know, we know what a symbol is जी.
But a symbol, your lordship, is a fundamental right. I want to point out that. A symbol,
when you say this, you'll have to back it up.
I will back it up.
We are not denying the importance of symbols. If you want to know, we realize the checkered history of Pakistan and how political parties have been hounded. So I think it started with the elections of the Pakistan People's Party, which let me just
उससे पहले भी जा सकते हैं,
बहुत पहले जा सकते हैं, at least when I was had I mean we can go to Ayub Khan and all that, वहाँ से भी जा सकते हैं, but जब पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज वाज़े तौर पे आ गई, अयूब खान का तो खैर आप वहाँ जाना चाहें वहाँ चले जाते हैं, मगर इन recent memories and those political parties which exist today, let's put it this way, The first brunt was received by the Pakistan People's Party. The sword was, I think, the symbol.
तलवार.
फिर वो पहले non-party election ये वो वगैरह हो गया. फिर the second brunt, then the parliamentarians and various other things. Then the second brunt was the Pakistan Muslim League. But be aware of the fact who was in government then. Today, was there a Supreme Court which had taken PCO oaths, judges, any act will not be challenged. So we must bear in mind those were far, far, far more difficult times.
Yes.
There's no comparison. Maybe you can say, yes, it continues today. You may say so. But today, your opponents are not in government.
They're not.
We use the word casually, establishment. Why don't we use the word honestly, army? There does not apparently appear to be any interference. You may allege there is, but the overt kind of stuff, unless you point out, matters are coming, the elections are not being held. It was your own petition we argued, which we pressed it in 12 days. We got the date, you were happy, everybody was happy when. So access to courts is there. It's not that nobody allowed you to file. Making allegations on the media or outside